from Memphis, Tennessee. Little small house, big family. Good morning. Oh, okay. Good morning. Can you hear me? We need space for the light. What do we need to? Let's move this, and then I can pick this on this side. Can you guys hear me? Okay, you can hear me, but you didn't hear the music. I'm so sorry. Okay, moving on. Good morning, guys. Bedhead. We are already at the airport, and our flight leaves at 7. So, that being said, we're going to jump in. Trying to make it work this morning. Just make it work. Look what I have. Look at Chris's face. I'm just saying. I do have. Are you good? I have a scrunchie on my wrist, which is exciting for me. There it goes. I haven't been able to get my iPad to open to the thing. It's all in my face. Let me open this. Good morning. Shiloh, you would have loved it. So we've been here at Red Carpet Society, and it's basically a group of people that are all in this, it's like a celebrity branding agency, and we got to meet and watch 2 incredible artists share their story, and then we got to do a song of your life. It is better than a concert. I don't want to go to concerts anymore unless, like Jamie Lee Curtis says, unless they're at 1 p.m. She said, I want to see Coldplay at 1 p.m. Not 9. I'm not going to be up. The songwriter sessions, the listening room is a great place to go to here in Nashville for those. They are amazing. Did you see my stories, Shiloh? We heard Tony Lane sing. What was that song? That's Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. He wrote it. We heard him sing it. We heard so many. It was just great. And then Ray Lynn, I think she's going to be on my podcast. We talked about that. She's going to be in Dallas in June. This morning we hopped into. First, my husband was upset because of how long the Uber was going to take. But you see, the Lord has it. He's on time. Are we late? No. And the Uber gets there. We wanted an Uber earlier, but that didn't happen. But, no sense in Let's just see what God's doing. This sucker opens the door and blaring out of the vehicle is worship music on video also. I could not, like, it was clear the Lord had something to say. And I think Chris was wrapped up in the movie on the back of the thing, but the Lord brought a word through that. Like, you listen to the rest of the song, and then he starts singing, he starts preaching about the sheep, and he goes into just talking about the way the Lord loves you. You know how you get hurt in love with so many things, how the Lord does not self-protect. He does not love you in any way that keeps him safe. Wow, only God. Only God. Yes, that. Yes. So good. All right, we're going to jump into this. Today we're reading Job 24 through 28. Good morning to Mariana and Isaiah. Hey guys, check in and let me know where's somewhere that you'd like to travel, or what is something that you'd like to do that you haven't done. I recommend, these are things that I'm adding to a suggested bucket list book that I'm putting out there, and reasons why you should put this on the bucket list. Number one, take a vocal lesson. Number two, have a son. These boys have lost, there is no authority inside, and these boys are together. There are 8 boys at a table, and it could be bad. It could be messy. Okay. Just sometimes you don't know what he's saying. So he said just being boys, which y'all probably didn't hear. Right? Can you hear him if you put some of these in? Put one of these in and say they're just being boys. He said they're just being boys. A little close to boys will be boys, and we don't say that anymore. Can you put that in there? Can you hear him talk? You did? Okay. Can you hear these boys? Have a son. Have a son. Have a son. Another thing is go to a songwriter session. And then there was something else that I said the other day. Huh? There was something that I said. Bless them, boys. Okay, they can hear you. All right. We're doing Job 24 through 28. Okay. It's on my Instagram, but then don't be mad.
What's on your Instagram?
The thing that you did while I was getting ready to start it. Yeah, you're on there. Awesome. I already got my ticket. Teresa, meet us in Arizona. Share it, babe. Go for it.
Already got it.
It might be. All right, here we go. If we have time on the end, and I think you might be walking through the check-in with us. Why are not times of check-in? Let me know somewhere you want to go, something that you want to do that you haven't done before. I need you to text me this so I don't forget. Take a vocal lesson. What did I just say the other day? Have a daughter. Have a son. Just have one. Do it. Just do it. What is the other thing that I said that I did that was a big deal? Have a ghostwriter write your story. Have a ghostwriter write your story. All right. Job 24. Here we go. But check in. Let me know how you're showing up, somewhere you want to go, something you want to do. Why are not times of judgment kept by the Almighty? And why are not times of judgment kept by the Almighty? And why do those who know him never see his days? Some move landmarks. Is it loud? Can you guys hear fine? Some move landmarks. They seize flocks and pasture them. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge. They thrust the poor off the road. Let's listen exquisitely, Father. Help us to hear. Help us to receive. Help us to focus. Protect our hearts. Pour out your wisdom. Behold, like wild donkeys in the desert, the poor go out to their toil, seeking gain. The wasteland yields food for their children. They gather their fodder in the field, and they glean the vineyard of the wicked man. They lie all night naked without clothing, and have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the rain of the mountains. Let me have that back on. Really loud. I'll give it back to you when you talk. Go out to the Behold, like donkeys in the desert, the poor go out to their toil, seeking gain. The wasteland yields food for their children. They gather their fodder in the field, and they glean the vineyard of the wicked man. They lie all night naked without clothing, and have no covering in the cold. They are wet in the rain of the mountains, and cling to the rock for lack of shelter. There are those who snatch the fatherless child from the breast, and they take a pledge against the poor. They go about naked without clothing, hungry. They carry the sheaves. Among the olive rows of the wicked they make oil. They tread the wine presses but suffer thirst. From out of the city the dying groan, and the soul of the wounded cries for help. Yet God changes no one with wrong. There are those who rebel against the light, who are not acquainted with its ways and do not stay in its paths. The murderer rises before it is light, that he may kill the poor and needy. And in the night he is like a thief. The eye of the adulterer also waits for the twilight, saying, no eye will see me. And he veils his face. In the dark they dig through houses. By day they shut themselves up. They do not know the light, for deep darkness is morning to all of them. For they are friends with the terrors of deep darkness. You say, swift are they on the face of the waters. Their portion is cursed in the land. No treader turns toward their vineyards. Drought and heat snatch away the snow waters. So does Sheol those who have sinned. The womb forgets them. The worm finds them sweet. They are no longer remembered. So wickedness is broken like a tree. The wrong, like barren, childless, they wrong the barren, childless woman, and do no good to the widow. Yet God prolongs the life of the mighty by his power. They rise up when they despair of life. He gives them security, and they are supported, and his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted a little while, and then are gone. They are brought low and gathered up like all others. They are cut off like the heads of grain. If it is not so, he will prove me a liar and show that there is nothing in what I say. Job 25, Bildad speaks, and he's talking about man cannot be righteous. What do you say? We should hop on YouTube from your legacy man. That way you can chime in the chat if you want to while I'm reading. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, dominion and fear are with God. He makes peace in his high heaven. Is there any number to his armies? Upon whom does his light not arise? How then can man be in the right before God? How can he who is born of woman be pure? Behold, even the moon is not bright, and the stars are not pure in his eyes. How much less man, who is a maggot, and the son of man, who is a worm? Do you want to recheck? Job replies, God's majesty is unsearchable. Then Job answered and said, how you have helped him who has no power, how you have saved the arm that has no strength, how you have counseled him who has no wisdom, and plentifully declared sound knowledge. With whose help have you uttered words, and whose breath has come out from you? The dead tremble under the waters. and their inhabitants. Sheol is naked before God, and Aradon has no covering. He stretches out the north over the void and hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not split open under them. He covers the face of the full moon and spreads over it his cloud. He has inscribed a circle on the face of the waters, at the boundary between light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astounded at his rebuke. By his power he stilled the sea. By his understanding he shattered rain. By his wind the heavens were made fair. His hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Behold, these are but the outskirts of his ways, and how small a whisper do we hear of him. With the thunder of his power, who can understand? Job 27. My voice is weary. And Job again. Job continues, I will maintain my integrity. And Job begins, pay attention, stay with me, pull away from anything. Here we go. Here's our example. Here's the Father's chosen. Listen to what he has to say. And Job again took up his discourse and said, as God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has made my soul bitter, as long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. That's why they're big. My lips will not speak falsehood, and my tongue will not utter deceit. Far be it from me to say that you are right. Till I die, I will not put away my integrity from me. What's his integrity? Standing with God, trusting God. I hold fast my righteousness and will not let it go. My heart does not reproach me for any of my days. Let my enemy be as the wicked, and let him who rises up against me be as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the godless? When God cuts him off, when God takes away his life, will God hear his cry? When distress comes upon him, will he take delight in the Almighty? Will he call upon God at all times? I will teach you concerning the hand of God. What is the Almighty, I will not conceal. What is with the Almighty, I will not conceal. Behold, all of you have seen it yourselves. Why then have you become altogether vain? This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage that oppressors receive from the Almighty. If his children are multiplied, it is for the sword, and his descendants have not enough bread. Those who survive him with pestilence berries, and his widows do not weep. Though he heap up silver like dust and pile up clothing like clay, he may pile it up, but the righteous will wear it, and the innocent will divide with the silver. He builds his house like a mox, like a booth that a watchman makes. He goes to bed rich, but will do so no more. He opens his eyes and his wealth is gone. Terrors overtake him like a flood. In the night a whirlwind carries him off. The east wind lifts him up and it sweeps him out of his place. It hurls at him without pity. He flees from its powering in headlong flight. It claps its hands at him and hisses at him from its place. Surely there is a mine for silver and a place for gold that they refine. Iron is taken out of the earth and copper is smelted from the ore. Man puts an end to darkness and searches out to the farthest limit. The ore in gloom and deep darkness. He opens shafts in a valley away from where anyone lives. They are forgotten by travelers. They hang in the air far away from mankind. They swing to and fro. As for the earth, out of it comes bread. But underneath it is turned up as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. The path no bird of prey knows, and the falcon's eye has not seen it. The proud beasts have not forbidden it. The lion has not passed over it. Man puts his hand to the flinty rock and overturns mountains by the roots. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eyes His eye sees every precious thing. He dams up the streams so that they do not trickle, and the thing that is hidden he brings out to light. But where shall wisdom be found, and where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its worth, and it is not found in the land of the living. The deep says it is not in me, and the sea says it is not with me. It cannot be bought for gold, and silver cannot be weighed as its price. It cannot be valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious onyx or sapphire. Gold and glass cannot equal it, nor can it be exchanged for jewels of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral or of crystal. The price of wisdom is above pearls. The topaz of Ethiopia cannot equal it, nor can it be valued in pure gold. From where then does wisdom come from? What is the most precious thing? And where is the place of understanding? It is hidden from the eyes of all living and concealed from the birds of the air. Abaddon and Death say, we have heard a rumor of it with our ears. God understands the way to it, for he knows its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth, and he sees everything under the heavens. When he gave to the wind its weight, and apportioned the waters by measure, when he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then he saw it and declared it, and he established it and searched it out. And he said to men, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to turn away from evil is understanding. What have we learned every year in Single Space is the most important, precious thing. What does Proverbs tell us over and over? Get wisdom. I love you, Dee. I'm going to jump right in. If you want to go ahead, I'm going to jump right in and read this. Today, Job wraps up his response to Eliphaz's third speech. He continues to point out that good things happen to the wicked and adds that bad things happen to the righteous. Job's reply may sound like a complaint, but he seems to be consoling himself with these details, reminding himself that his trials don't negate his status as a righteous man before God, while trying to convince his friends as well. Job points out some really important things here. If we follow his friends' beliefs to their logical conclusion, we'd be likely to think that all those who are healthy and wealthy are living righteous lives, and that the poor, sick, and needy are suffering because of their own sin. No, there's no shortage of people who subscribe to this belief today. One of the dangers of this belief is that anytime there's a disaster, a fire or a flood or a terrorist attack, some very public people say it's God's judgment. They want to blame. They want to say it's your fault, as if they know the mind of God. They're guilty of the same reductionism as Job's friends. In Job's story, we're given a glimpse into God's motives since they're recorded in Scripture. But in everyday 21st century life, they don't have access to that information. We'd be wise not to jump to conclusions about why hurricanes and mass murderers happen when they do, because God's motives aren't always clearly revealed to us. Bildad pushed us back, saying not only is Job unrighteous, but that it's impossible for a man to be righteous at all. That's not cleaned out. While there's some truth in this, that we can't be perfect, we can be declared righteous by God despite our actions because of the finished work of Christ. In Scripture, righteousness is often used as a kind of legal term. It's more of a decision. If you cleaned it out, you can put it there. It's more of a decision and a declaration by the judge than the accumulated overview of our actions. That's good. For every one of us who is adopted from God's family, God the judge has declared every one of us. God the judge has declared every one of us who is adopted into his family righteous, not because we tricked him and not because we get more things right than we get wrong, but because God the Son, Jesus, granted us his righteousness. It's a legal transaction. He traded our sinfulness, which we were in full possession of, for his righteousness. He took our death penalty and granted us his kingdom. If you want to talk about what's not fair, that's the best place to start. It's unfair in the most beautiful way imaginable. Job has a reverence for God's mystery that his friends can't see. This is reminiscent of Genesis 6 and the sons of God rebelling against him. And again, Job prophesies about Jesus without even knowing it. By his power, he stilled the sea. We know who did that. Job continues to maintain his integrity and even tells them that despite all their rebukes, he feels no conviction. My heart does not reproach me for any of my days. His conscience is clean before God and man. He's certain that his trial is not punishment from God. Job knows how to live in the tension. He can be angry and sad, yet not mistrust God's heart when things are falling apart. Despite everything, Job points to God as the source of all wisdom. Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to turn away from evil is understanding. Many of Job's words and thoughts are echoed later by Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. Job had a lot of wisdom too. He fears God and turns away from evil. We already know Job is wise, and he's demonstrating it here through his knowledge of God. The God shot, drop a takeaway, drop a highlight. We're about to board, but I want you to drop something so I can read it and hear it and see it. Can you open my YouTube, please, and see if it allows me to come on just like this? Job points. Go to my channel. Job points to God as the source of all wisdom. By fixing our eyes on him, looking for him, and reading his word daily, we're tapping into that source. So even as you may be realizing how little you know of God so far, it takes wisdom to realize that. He's fulfilling his promise to you. I want it to make me the one. That those who seek him with all their hearts will find him. And the even better news for us all, is he's not only where the wisdom is, but he's where the joy is. He's where the joy is. I'm trying to see if it's possible for me to hop on and still chat with you from, yeah, but that's just watching it. And I need to go to the studio here. I want to see if it'll let me drop your highlights and takeaways. I think the main thing for me is I love the way he says, I'm not at all convicted by you. You don't convict me. The Father convicts me. And I'm not bothered. I'm unbothered by you, right? Please drop any highlights or takeaways that you might have. Can you close this and take that? I'm going to try to stay on because I'd like to chat with you, and I'd also love for Chris to be able to share with you something from his devotion. Where I can get to it. Hang tight. Huh? Both of them. Okay. I'm hoping that I can hop in here, and then I'm going to read all your things. Now, will you let me switch? I'm trying to see if it'll let me switch so that I can be with you via my phone or They're doing another early bird sale, and she just bought her ticket. If you haven't gotten a ticket to Powerhouse Women and you're interested, I suggest doing it now because it's going to be $200 more later. Praise the Lord. Okay, I'm just going to take my. Thank God. Huh? Keep going, guys. Keep sharing. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way that I can switch to my phone. I'm not seeing it. If anybody happens to know, please holler. Will you carry my phone for me? I'm trying to carry this. I'm sad about this.
Save that.
Yeah.
Let's go down.
We've got our thing, but we can set one over there. I just have to carry this, and I don't want to get rid of my coffee. You think they have something with a lid over there? I wonder if I should switch it out for that one, because I don't want to get rid of this.
That's where I got the cup.
Do you have a lid by chance? Do you have a different cup that I can take with me that has a lid, pretty please? Okay. Oh, maybe that will work. God bless you. Thank you so much. All right. I'm about to read your stuff. Oh my gosh, Christy. Mexico. The Maldives. What do you want to do in the Maldives? Can't hear you over other things. The gaining of wisdom requires the total sacrifice of the single most precious possession, ourselves. You have my phone? You put this one on the side of me. Wisdom isn't something. The gaining of wisdom requires a total sacrifice of our single most precious possession, ourselves. More specifically, what is required. Mason, so good. Thank you, Jesus. Wisdom isn't something. The entire chapter got kind of lost in the beauty of described wisdom, where it's ultimately found. Really beautiful. Wow. Job said for himself shows how much strength he has. Can you open my phone?
You're headed on the concourse. This will serve as your final morning call for American Airlines Flight 2583 Bobby, non-stop service to Dallas for all passengers on for service Stacey. Hey ma'am, I'll need for you to put your purse inside your tote there
Okay.
to go through the door.
Just put it in your. Just put it right there, please. As long as it's on your, you're fine. Yeah. How many of you think at this point you absolutely would have been like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being haughty and prideful. think you would have gave in, Mary? Anybody else think that you would have caved? That's a really important question. Okay. What seat am I in?